Very interesting. On the exit poll day, markets appreciated by 2.5%. On the exit poll, after the exit poll, the verdict when markets opened in 2019 was about 4%, and yesterday was 3.3%. So it's between 2.5% to 3.5%. That's a benchmark number you need to understand. Now on the verdict day, this was the first term, Ab ki baar Modi Sarkar, right? Markets loved the verdict. There was change of guard. BJP was voted back to power. The verdict day reaction was not great. 2019, the verdict day reaction was not there at all. And today, could it be a case of buy the rumor and sell the news? And that's where I want to, bring in Kunal, because Kunal, it was more like a magical Monday yesterday. But if history is anything to go by, the medium-term outlook changes, the long-term outlook changes. But in the short term, could today be a case of buy the rumor and sell the news? That's what history has told us. I'm only talking about today. This one. Yeah. Will it be green or will it be red?
I think it will be green.
How much?
Less than 1%, I would say. Okay. On closing. Should be less than 1%.
That's a summons story, right?
So hardly anything.
Hardly
the
anything.
major part of the reaction was done with yesterday.
Correct.
See, because what we've seen in 2014, 2019 also is that post the exit polls and the verdict day, markets have gone through a very slow movement on the upside. So what we have to also understand that the pace of rally over the next 1 week, 2 weeks should slow down significantly. I think that's where, because the IVs will drop down. So I think yesterday we were at 20. Now we should be at almost 15, 16 post the event today or tomorrow. And I think from there, moving up higher will take a lot of effort for the indices. You will see a lot of moves from large cap names. If that all of the positive factors come together, then we can see another 500 points on the upside. But if we see a staggered move, like few sectors participating, few not, then I think it will be just 1% to 2% move.
But Kunal, what's different from last time or the time before that to now is the FI positioning. The fact that the short pile-up is the highest in about 13 odd years or so. And the way we moved yesterday, the FI buy figure itself yesterday was over 6,000 crores. And we were chatting about how banks actually saw that influx of money or would see that influx of money coming in. Your biggest point contribution on the Nifty yesterday was largely private banks, right?
Correct.
With the Nifty Bank also hitting 51K. So does that not give you confidence that the Nifty Bank itself can do it and pull up the market higher, and maybe we will not consolidate, maybe we will inch up higher?
I think that's a very valid point.
Because of the shorts in the system.
Yeah, so I think short covering is a very important concept. And I think again in 2019, 2014, we had a very similar stance. So in 2014, it was a 3-year high in terms of short positioning. 2019, it was a 7 or 8-year high for the FI in terms of the short positions. Okay. What happens is the bottom gets created for the index. But the initial move is very slow, gradual, because the markets have to adjust to new speed, new IVs. And I think because of that new IVs and new adjustment towards the speed, the initial movement becomes a bit slow. The trend is still intact on the upside. So it's not as if the markets will correct very sharply, but slowly and gradually we will move up higher, maybe scale up towards 24,000 say by the end of the month, and then slowly and steadily we'll move up to 25K.
So the new base is 24K?
Yeah, 24K should be, I think, is where I would expect the markets to test this month.
Wow.
Okay, so perhaps it could be a little bit of a gradual move, but it would be interesting in light of this as well. You've been talking about your top recommendations. It's been focused largely on the PSU space. Now that we've already perhaps seen the move priced in yesterday, 733 points on the Nifty close, what are the stock ideas that you'd be working with?
So I'll go with the large cap name, and this time around HDFC Bank is something which I would pick. I've been bullish on the stock earlier also, but I think after yesterday's gap up move, the stock confirming a breakout above its 200-day moving average, which I think is a very important technical breakout for HDFC Bank. And historically, we've seen the stock rising to as much as 5 to 10% also in a matter of just 1 to 2 weeks post this strong 200 DMA breakout. So I'd be bullish on the stock. 1625 could be an immediate target. Stop loss at 1455 for HDFC Bank. And the other stock which I would be bullish on would be REC Limited. I think that's also another PSU name. Yesterday the stock closing above the 600 mark. A very strong breakout. Again a gap which was formed for the stock. So we'll be bullish on REC with a target of 630. Stop loss 575.
Okay, so momentum PSU, and then of course an underperforming large private bank. Soni Patnaik, hi, morning. What's your technical setup looking like? Do you think today calls for some consolidation, or do you think we're going to see a follow through from where we left it off yesterday?
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me on the show. I think today would be another day of the continued momentum that we saw yesterday, and the immediate resistance that can be seen in Nifty is around 23,500. However, if this resistance were to break today, you can see a continued short covering in Nifty where it can test 23,800 levels today as well. So I think it's very important to understand that yesterday, when the gap up happened and Nifty was continuously defending 23,000, it has become a very strong support zone for now. We've seen massive short covering in the FI's positioning yesterday from 13% longs to 28% longs, which has indicated that the short covering has come in Nifty especially. So I think that short covering is to continue today. Any sort of a minor profit booking or a consolidation can only be viewed from tomorrow onwards as per the options metrics data. So I think today could be another day for Nifty. Similarly, in Bank Nifty as well, 50,000 becomes a new support zone, and from current levels, you can see 51,500, 51,700 getting tested for the day. I think these two indices are going to play quite heavily. Plus, it's going to get a lot of support from heavyweights like Reliance, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, PSU banks, and a lot of sectors which are coming to the defense for both the indices.
All right, Soni, let's find out what exactly your tilt is towards. Where is it that you're seeing preference when it comes to individual stocks? Top picks for the day.
So my first pick would be in Reliance. We are seeing a fresh range breakout in Reliance. Any move above 3030, you can see it heading towards 3070, 3080 levels, even 3100 levels can get tested. This is a fresh range breakout coming in Reliance. So keeping a stop loss of 2980 and a target of 3080, 3100 can be seen. So that's the first pick. The second pick comes in DLF. We've seen a fresh breakout on intraday charts yesterday in DLF. Very good fresh positions on the long side getting added up. So keeping a stop loss of 850 and a target of 900 to 910 can be seen. The third pick comes in UPL. UPL for the last 2 days, we've seen 505, 506 level getting very strong support. It's getting defended. And, there's a resistance of around 530, 535. So if UPL were to break that resistance level, you can see it heading towards 550, 560. So one can buy at current levels, keeping a stop loss of 505 and a target of 560.
Right. Soni, thanks a lot for that. Sanjiv Bhasin is here. Hello, sir. Sir, अभी सुबह टाइपिंग अभी तो मार्केट भी नहीं खुला है.
अरे निकुंज जी धंधा है क्या करें.
क्या टाइप कर रहे थे.
गुड मॉर्निंग कर रहा था FIS को. The people who have always got it wrong and who have got it always correct. So when fools buy and fools sell, you should do the opposite. Correct, Aisha?
Absolutely.
It's been proved in the whole month of May. Yesterday this
yesterday FIs were buying.
But I was just going to say they were very big buyers. So are you saying we should sell?
Of course.
Okay.
It is time to be greedy. It's time to be
Fearful, you
It's
mean.
time to be fearful at 22,500 when it was lock, stock and barrel known that sitting in Singapore or US, you have no clue what the election trends are. Neither did I have as much, but I still was privy that whatever has to play out will play out on Monday or Tuesday. And lo and behold, you have the exit poll and suddenly a 700-point rally. How long back have you seen that, Evan? A 700-point rally?
Exactly, that really hasn't played out.
So I'm not belittling what they are, but common sense in 35 years has told me greed and fear go hand in hand. And similarly, the trends have been visible whenever there has been a herd mentality.
Sure.
Indian retail investor is here to stay, so hats off to him. And that is what has been the real icing on the cake. Now, I am also in the camp that you have to stay invested. Aisha, there are no free lunches. Only if you are there will you participate in this. Exactly. But a large part of the market is now, particularly the over-owned PSUs are now looking little frothy. So take some money, but the larger market, Kunal just said, HDFC Bank, HDFC, the AB Birla Group, Ultratech, AB, I can go on the list.
Sure.
I think there is a lot of value over there. So pick and choose. Index, I would be neutral.
Okay, so let's pick it up one by one. For the short-term players, you're saying profit take, that's the clear messaging. Within PSUs, where are the stocks or the segments where you would say profit take? Or is it across the board call?
Defense, railways across the board. My two picks, which I still think are value picks or excellent, IRCTC, Concor. You do your diligence, but don't get chased by the momentum. Let me be frank. the whole mutual fund industry has been very, very underweight on PSUs for the last many months, and now everything is catching up. Commodities, metals, wherever the left out feeling. I'm not saying that they are going to fall overnight, but now the risk on the table is less. You don't want to be burned right at the top and then see a 15% correction and then forward. So I think taking money there off, but private banks, like I told you, Ultratech, a lot of those ABFRL, Vodafone and Ratan Power, my dear.
Yes.
That 9 rupee 50 stock is locked at 20.25. Today again will be circuit. That is called making money.
How do you know it will be circuit?
Huh?
How do you know?
Conviction of a bull.
God's grace, God's grace.
Okay, so I'll put this graphic out again. On the election day, how markets have moved, the verdict day, how markets have moved on the exit poll day, what has been the reaction. And then 1 month, what has been the market historical reaction in last two cases when they've liked the verdict. So Bhasin sahab, you want to pay attention here. Give me a number. 2024. क्या होगा आज?
Because no guesses. मेरे को लगता है आज market range में रहेगी. Maybe it closes close to flat.
Closes to flat. Okay, now flip it with 1 month and 1 week. How markets historically have reacted. Again, 2014-19 markets like the mandate. 1 week after 2014 and 19, this is the data. Bhasin sahab, 2.5%. Even though markets, they love the verdict. So could the same happen that markets will like the verdict in 1 week, and 1 week we may not see a sizable change?
1 week from now, whatever rally you get, please sell and sit on the side, go for a vacation. The budget, whatever it comes, will have uncertainties, and taking money off the queues over there is a very, very good ploy. June is a very hot month. It's very good if you go on vacation.
हमारे यहाँ बारिश होगी. It will be hot for you in Delhi.
दिल्ली में तो उबल रहा है भाई. क्या बोले?
But Kunal, let's get in a take. Sanjiv was flagging off a number of cluster of stocks. He was talking about Aditya Birla, Ultratech, etc. And you track some of these names quite closely. What's the view on the chart?
So I think many of the stocks are coming out after a deep hibernation as such, because EBFRL, for example, that stock was languishing at this 150-200 range for quite some time. I think almost 13-14 months, and that stock has made a dramatic comeback, now on the verge of breaking about the 300 levels. You look at AB Capital, one of the stocks which I've been very bullish on. That stock has moved from 100-114 to now 220-230 plus mark. Again, a stock which has surprisingly become very stable from being extremely volatile and choppy few quarters back. You look at the likes of Hindalco. I think one of the prominent metal stocks which have done exceptionally well so far in the last 3-4 months of this entire metal rally, and one of the more leading stocks in terms of price performance. Ultratech Cement has been a bit of a consolidation, but then when you look at the long-term charts, it's as if that the stock has come back towards a major support point and should be a good accumulate. So I think plethora of stocks from the AB group which have done exceptionally well. Vodafone Idea also, I think the stock has recovered from 10-11 just about I think a month out back to now 16 plus mark.
But picking up that point with the AB group, Sanjeev, I want you to come in here. What gives you this kind of conviction on Vodafone? You've been bullish from what, 7 odd levels?
No, about 10-11 levels.
10-11.
And correctly so. See, Aisha, there was a case for survival. You always called it 2.25, 2.5. It is a third player now. ARPU is at 142, 42% EBITDA. And now when they are saying the 5G expansion comes with the liquidity, also if you recall what yesterday Indus Tower said, we will be very, very conducive to the type of arrangement of payback. And I think that the way they have restructured the whole thing, with government now taking 33% stake and not being willing, being there for the long term, you cannot but have making money on data. I mean, Bharti is a $100 billion company. How can this languish at a 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh? So I still think there is a lot of room on the upside. It will take time, but the icing on the cake would be the AGR verdict, which will be very positive. Aisha, another stock which is a dark horse, and I have been bullish for 2 years and maybe had to be very patient, is ABSL AMC. That yesterday broke out. Maybe Kunal can tell you more. But that stock, according to me, came at a price of 720 at the IPO. It's never retested that in the last 2 years. Just yesterday, it's the highest closing. ABSL AMC is headed back to 700 and more. The underlying business remains extremely positive. That is, AMCs are here to stay for the next 20-30 years. And if you can get good names, then that makes your journey even more better.
Kunal, do you see that breakout happen on the charts? Can it hit 700 soon?
Yeah, I'm not sure about 700, but I think yes, the stock has confirmed a breakout yesterday. So I've been tracking the stock over the last 2-3 months, and 555, 540 was a range the stock was stuck into, and I think that's where yesterday saw the breakout closing above 555 mark. But what is also interesting is that the likes of HDFC, AMC, NAM India, etc., these stocks have also confirmed a breakout for themselves, and we are talking of a multi-week, multi-month breakout for the entire group, cluster in this sense. So I would probably believe that that's also another positive for the sector.
Okay. What do we have in terms of the leads? Now Maharashtra, Gujarat, all those big states, they've started opening up. So let's just look at it. I think
213?
yeah,
Already?
213. Yeah, I mean by 9 o'clock, you see these are leads, Aisha. Again,
Yeah.
these are not the fine. And these as more and more ABM opens up, of course, things will change. Technology has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time when, it used to be like this election purchase. You would open the election purchase and then it's acha, mohar hai. Now these are gone, right? You take out the card and the card tells you that, okay, what's happening. These are leads here, but these are leads which will surely make markets very happy. And
There, 93 for India, for NDA 230.
yeah, 230,
so
93. Yeah, so far. And the states now will be playing a larger role now. So let's see where leads are coming from. Are they coming from Uttar Pradesh? The gains are expected to be in Andhra Pradesh. The gains are expected to be in Orissa. The gains are expected to be in Bengal. Do we have anything on Bengal, Patricia? Okay, this is the swing state, as everybody is saying.
Yeah.
Where,
Maharashtra is very
Maharashtra.
critical as well. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Bengal because leads in Bengal, there you go. Karnataka, they're winning. Karnataka, they're winning. Bengal,
There. 13 and 19. 9 for TMC, 13 for BJP.
and these are only 20 seats.
Yeah.
So the trend in a sense is decisively in favor of BJP. So what do we have? The final, let's look at the current leads right now. All India leads, last we saw was 212, but blink of an eye, 5-6 seats get added right now. So let's look at that. Let's look at implied Nifty, and then we'll, overall kitty, 231. Our clock needs to be fixed. It somehow says 7:11 a.m., right? It is 8:30. The clock needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Another trend, Nikunj, not to sound ominous, but has been the downfall of political analysts and journalists and the upside of stock market analysts. Our rating is going up, your ratings are going up, and the political analysts and journalists are going down. Nobody is interested in the type of discourse which goes around.
Well, if politicians are talking stock markets, I think your PSQ is there, right?
And Aisha, touchwood, we are making people richer, or at least getting financialization of saving. And nobody talks of us from the COVID times when we were the real warriors who, bucked the trend and never gave up. So rightly so, we deserve a better place.
Of course you do. Okay, on that note, we're going to take a very quick break. By the way, the Nifty implied open has flattened out completely. We're barely in the green right now. So seems like that profit taking has well been digested already. It started off with that 130, 150 odd point gain, but barely scratching the surface right now. Quick break. Be right back. We'll get the FII voices in just a short while from now.
Early leads are indicating what markets and exit polls predicted, and it really could be bigger than what exit polls are predicting, because we are looking at 406 leads coming, and BJP or NDA is leading in 281. India blocked as expected. The gap is more than 50% now. Now, looking at this, why is GIFT Nifty down? And I'll tell you why. Because if one looks at the history of Indian stock markets or history of any markets, at early part of my career, I learned one very important line, which is buy the rumor and sell the news. एक simple line है जी, वो हमेशा याद रखें जब आप market में trade करते हैं, invest करते हैं. And why am I insisting on that is because if you look at the markets on the election verdict, and if you compare with the market on the exit poll, the market reaction to the exit poll has been strong, but the market reaction to the same exit poll actually has been quite numb. 2014, a table thumping response to the exit poll. 2019, same. 2024, yesterday, 3.5%. 3.5% is what you gain. On the verdict day, markets were up. On the verdict day, markets were down. And on the verdict day, will it be a buy the rumor and sell on news? So I would insist and I would make a case that rather than taking a 2 to 3 day view, I think what is important here is that we should now take what could be called as a 2 to 3 year view, which is focus on the medium term. Macros will become better, new policy themes would be initiated, currency will become better, P multiple will expand, SIP culture will expand. So don't focus on next 2 or 3 days. Next 2 or 3 days could be short covering, compulsion, FI buying, adjustment in the portfolio. There is little bit of excitement which has got created in some of the policy stocks that may just go away next couple of days. But trust me, what changes is the medium term and the long term outlook, and that really changes. But we are in conversation with Kunal and Sanjiv Bhasin. So let's recap some of the ideas what we've got so far from Sanjiv Bhasin. And these are some of the top ideas from Sanjiv Bhasin. ABFRL 325. This is the retail business of Aditya Birla Group. ABSL, AMC, Wipro, and HDFC Life. Very unusual stock ideas here. And I will pick up Wipro here, Bhasin sir. Why an IT stock and why an IT stock which has underperformed within the IT basket? एक तो IT नीचे and within that Wipro और नीचे. So you actually saying backbencher खड़े हो जाओ. वो लास्ट बेंच पे जो बच्चा बैठता था ना, ये खड़े होने का समय आ गया.
So निकुंज, I think IT में जो weakness है वो इसलिए है because the money is chasing the high momentum. I think Wipro has been a far outperformer in the pack of IT. Only in the recent time it has. But what I have, what I have in the knowledge is that the Microsoft tie-up is going to lead to a bigger thing. You've already seen a change of guard with the previous managements being, done away or changing. And I think now there is an inevitable change which can take place at the higher level. The corporate event is something which I am playing for. Wipro's earnings have been far in ahead of any of the IT stocks. It trades at half the multiple of an Infosys, TCS and a HCL Tech, and I think that arguably it is the best IT stock for me in 2024. Plus, Nikunj, I want to be slightly defensive and invested and not chase momentum, which I think may lack in the second half of the day. So be watchful, don't get caught in the whole realm because a large part of the play out has taken place yesterday.